What's up, everybody? I'm Stephanie Mahoe, IFBB Pro, here with PJ Braun, very good friend of mine.
How smiley she was getting at me
Boss
already.
man, and now coach.
I told her too, she was like, how do I introduce it? I'm like, just say your name, and I'm going to make you start laughing, and then it'll all flow. And yes. I did have you laughing already. So Steph and I have known each other for a long time, and we did a really awesome podcast today. You guys are going to like. It's really funny. We covered a bunch of different subjects. Today, we are here to basically just parade her around in her bikini. So that's that. No, but seriously, we're going to get a lot of content out today. We're doing training, we're doing band work, we're doing posing. But the main thing that I wanted to really do with Steph is she's such a seasoned veteran. And she's in great shape right now. And the crazy thing is we haven't even picked a show out yet. So she's getting back on stage this year. And we're very excited about 2019. She took a year off. And together we have the same goal of getting to the Olympia, right? And I've always believed that Steph is a top Olympia competitor, belongs with the top Olympia competitors. And so this year, we're gonna go through different stages of changing her physique to get us there. So this video is gonna be called, What Do They Want in Bikini? Because there's a lot of question marks now. Are the girls getting skinnier? Are they more muscular? Is there a different look in the NPC and the IFBB? Yes, there's a lot of questions that need answering that I think a lot of you can learn from when you watch this video. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get out of the way and I'm gonna have Steph run through her routine as if she were on stage, right? As if she were competing at the New York Pro tomorrow. Obviously, she would have
nice.
tan on. Her.
I was actually supposed to be competing in the Philippines this weekend.
That's right. So, originally, I'll give you quick history on this. I reached out to Stephanie a couple months ago, and I was like, listen, we had a great run when we were working together. And, that year, she was in the mix at every show. She had a top 5 at the Arnold, second at New York Pro, which a lot of people thought you should have won New York Pro, but whatever.
That was
7th at the Olympia. JM even still talks about the show. The
New York Pro?
Yeah, that you should have won.
That was my hardest. I've had 8 second place finishes in my IFBB career, and that was definitely the hardest loss.
I was there.
Win, but
it was tough. Now the thing is, to have that much success early the way that she did, a lot of women will make it into the IFBB and will actually never place. So that's really, really damn impressive. So that being said, I don't want to bring somebody in to do a educational video that hasn't been through a lot. So what she's going to show you is somebody that's done it a bunch of times and is doing it best for her physique. And I'm going to explain a couple of perspectives. I'm going to explain what judges are looking at. And I'm going to also explain, as her coach, what I need to do to her to make her perfect so she can win shows. So I'm going to get out of the way and I'm going to have you run through your routine, and anything that I'm saying, say back whatever you want to say to me.
Okay.
And anything that you feel that people watching can benefit from.
Okay.
By all means, say it. This is going to be a fun educational video.
Okay.
So right now, I'm just saying right now, I haven't seen her in her suit in a long time, and she looks really hot. I'm just going to get that out of the way.
Thank you.
I prefer, I prefer a full off-season look. Most girls hate that. She is very lean, but she will tell you that she's watery, because that's what happens to most serious competitors. She has a tiny bit of water, but the fact that she doesn't even have a show coming up and looks like this is spectacular. So that's your intro. That's it. And whatever number you want to be, will be, for the sake of the video, 69, and come out. And I actually have got 69 when I competed one time. I'll never forget it. I saved that pin. So we'll be number 1. How about that?
All right.
Because you're number 1. So I'm going to be sitting where the judges would be sitting, and I'm looking up at her, and she's going to come out in her individual. And now, she's going to do her own routine, but you ladies, you can change it for your structure. But this is what she feels best with her structure and her physique and how she feels confident. So let's see it.
A little rusty.
So, you might feel that you're a little rusty, but I think that was very good. Now, a bunch of things come to my mind already. I didn't want to fire them out while she was doing it. I didn't want to throw her off. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to have you run through it again. Okay. Run through it just a little bit slower. And please give me back, when I start giving you critiques, give me back your opinion and ways that you feel about where we're going forward with this. So let's just say, for the sake of argument, that we are, I don't know, let's say for the sake of argument, we're 6 weeks out from a competition, which could essentially happen if I decide to pick one of the first shows of the year. Because she is, without a doubt, if somebody came to me in this condition and I knew nothing about them at all, I would say if you were one of my competitors, you look about 4 weeks out, which is pretty damn good. Now, we are going to have more than 4 weeks to do whatever show, so I can get her in very, very good condition. Just looking at her, if she was anything more than 4 weeks out, I would call that condition exceptional. Now, because we don't have a show, it's impossible for me to say that, but you get what I'm saying. She's in good condition. So come out and present yourself again. So as a judge, as I'm watching her, you can tell that she's practiced her walk a lot. She's walking with confidence. She's moving with elegance. She's smiling. She's making eye contact the whole time. That's all very, very important. This is a big, big part of your scoring as a competitor. You can see that all of her posing is fluid. It's almost like a dance. It's like a pretty ballet, but with some muscles. Now, when she transitions, although that one was a little bit choppy just because she's a little rusty, you can see how everything is a step. It's like step 1, step 2, step 3, all smooth. Now, when you are critiquing a physique, you have to look at a number of things. You have to look at symmetry. You have to look at the muscularity. You have to look at balance versus imbalance. So in Stephanie's case, I feel one of her strongest parts, which in a way can sometimes almost be a weakness. I call this like the Dexter Jackson issue. She's so balanced and so good everywhere that if she's not in stellar condition, she may not wow you because there is no weakness. So you look at somebody like Dexter Jackson, right? And he is like perfect, especially when he's in shredded condition. But when he's off a little bit in condition, if somebody else like, Ronnie Coleman or Jay Cutler shows up that's got like giant legs or giant this, your eye's gonna go to that other body part. So with Stephanie as her coach and as her friend, I feel for her to be her best, she has to be in a little bit better condition than everybody else. And there's nothing wrong with that, and it's a testament to hard work when you show up in better condition than everybody else, and the judges do take note of that. Now, we go back to watching her do her routine again. I'm going to be very, very hypercritical and say that Stephanie is still borderline too muscular for what they really want in the IFBB.
Down here.
So when she walks towards me, her quads look humongous to me. Now, most women that are watching this are going to be like, no way, I want my quads to look like that, which I get it. I would too if I was a woman. But for what they specifically want in the IFBB, and definitely in the NPC, she would be way too jacked for the NPC. So in the NPC, they would tell her to go to figure, which would be a humongous mistake in the IFBB.
I think even the IFBB 3 or 4 years ago, it's a different look.
Of course,
now.
it is a much different look.
So I feel like I'm really excited to see what we can do, because we have to actually outbeat what I did before, because they are smaller.
Yep.
They're all coming in super small.
The NPC girls that are getting pro cards are the way I describe it to people, and I don't mean this in any disrespectful way, is they look like pretty girls that were like, I'm gonna start working out this year, and then did competitions. So the looks are there, they're pretty, it's a softer look, it's not a densely muscled look. Now, Stephanie's look is much different. Stephanie has a physique of somebody that you would say, that girl looks like she competed in the Olympics. She looks like she throws the javelin or something. So it's a much different look. When you have that much muscle, the objective is to streamline it with her. Now, also, when she's coming out, let's focus on some front posing first. Now, you'll see that she has very, very muscular and toned midsection. She has very muscular delts, very muscular arms. You can even see that her chest development is there. So there's no weakness anywhere in muscle. What needs to be done is the entire package has to be smaller. And that's a tricky thing because that really comes down into burning some muscle while maintaining tone to the muscle so it doesn't get soft. So when we turn to the back, you'll see that she has spectacular calves. I mean, she's got some of the best calves, probably in the sport. Very, very good hamstring development, very good adductor development, and her glutes are very, very nicely shaped and toned. Now, in the past, her glutes were a little undersized compared to the rest of her legs, but she's worked to bring that up a lot. Now, when you move up to the waist and the delts and everything, this is a very, very tricky spot. A lot of girls ask me questions on this all the time. So they don't actually want you to show your back at all in bikini. So you'll always see the hair over the back, and some girls with short hair even get extensions over their back. So most women get very dry and lean in their back fast. So when you have a girl that's turned around with a shredded back, and you see how shredded her back is, versus a bottom that, because of estrogen and being a woman, you're gonna have more meat in your hips and thighs, there's a big difference in balance, right? So typically to make it look as feminine and as pretty as possible, you've got the hair that's covering this up, and annoying phone ringing, let's turn that off. And you're gonna see basically posterior delt, triceps, forearms, and then the waist. So this is why it's extremely important to have properly developed shoulders, properly developed triceps, and you don't want to neglect individually training each head of the shoulder, because this posterior and medial delt are going to be separated because you're that lean, and it's going to actually make your waist look smaller. So this is very, very important things. Now, to me, Stephanie is closer to where she wants to be in the back than the front. Now, she may disagree with me on that, but really from the back, all I see is we need more condition. So as the condition comes in, we're going to shrink this a little bit more as well. And the big, I hate saying game changer because that's everybody uses that phrase, but the game changer in the bikini division is having clear separation from the glute to hamstring. If you turn around and you don't have that, you will not be in the top 5. They're not even going to look at you. So every single person who's competing, no matter how tight you think you are, no matter how good you think you are, if you're dieting down to that low of a level of body fat and the separation is not there, it means you have not developed the muscles enough for them to clearly separate through the skin. If the muscle is there and you do have good muscle and they're not showing, well, then that's the opposite. It means you have not dieted enough to expose that area. Now, this is something that I'm very excited about with Stephanie because the muscle development is there. If anything, we're actually trying to get below the glute smaller, perhaps bring the glutes a little more full so there's even that much more separation, but she's not even picked a show yet, and you can already see there's already separation coming in. So it'll be very exciting to see just how separated that she can be. Back to the front again. Again, if people are watching this thinking man, how can he be picking her apart? I'm saying what needs to be said to make her a champion, to make her a perfect. If somebody walked down the beach like that, people would be asking for her autograph. But when you're on stage in those do or die situations with very unflattering light on you, against a bunch of other people that are, gone through the same situation, you have to have everything in place perfect.
I think also if you're standing next to, if these girls are all small-legged and I'm up there, every day my legs aren't going to look big, but next to the look that's going on, I look huge.
Well, so that being said, I'll get out of the way. Show what you do because of the structure and shape of your physique to make you present yourself the best that you can, because there are different ways to present yourselves. You'll see when you look at the top 5 of the Olympia, all the girls are standing a little bit different.
Well, this used to be my only front pose, but I don't know, the last time I stepped on stage that season, I was able to use this pose more. I'm not quite there yet because I'm not conditioned enough.
Yep.
So it's not looking right, but normally my waist looks super small and then I'm able to get that, side glute, and my legs look smaller in this pose. So this would always be a good front pose for me.
Go back to the original one again. So now that she said that,
you can see the size difference.
As a judge, when I'm looking up at her and I'm seeing a jacked quad, right? Also, if she's, like I said, she's not in stage shape yet. Also, I'm, as a judge, going to look for any rippling in here and here. And so when she switches to the side like that, because her legs are so muscular, it actually enhances that side pose that she has altered into doing now, because her stomach gets basically hollow when she competes, and it's a dramatically different effect. So that's something that why you have to always practice at different levels of body fat, because things are going to look completely different.
And that's why I'll also do that pose once it gets further to show kind of the side development. This one usually looks a little bit better too, I think, when my stomach's sucked in more.
Now, when you are in a lineup,
This is how I stand.
and I think it's very important that whoever's watching this video, you watch this video, you take into consideration your own structure, where your strengths and weaknesses are, versus what she is saying, and figure out what is best for your physique. Don't pose the way that Stephanie is posing because you really like Stephanie. Because if you look at yourself in the mirror and your body is way, way different than hers, you've got to hide your weaknesses and enhance your strengths. That's what's cool about the bikini division. Figure, you have to stand dead straight, dead sideways, dead to the back. Bikini, you can show your body in a much different way. So to me, when I have girls that look at me and they say, PJ, tell me what's wrong with me. I say, well, we all have structural imbalances and things about our physique that aren't great. But if you're a bikini competitor, let's figure out how you can show all your good stuff and hide the bad stuff. So, I mean, somebody like Stephanie, who's that balanced, I think for her, we always basically say, like, let's practice everything and go with what's best at the end.
I think the best advice I got, just to kind of go off of what you're saying, was actually right before the Olympia, and it was from Jim Mannion. I was going through my routine, and I had other poses in my routine, and he said, take that out, and basically shorten my routine to be just, very simple and effective. But it was when it kind of switched in my head that they're not looking for your strengths up there, they're looking for your weaknesses, and whoever has the least weaknesses is who wins.
Yep.
So you kind of have to, what he was doing by taking out things was taking out anything that showed a slight weakness. Even, it made the thing look, like cool and all this like show, but it was giving opportunity to present something that wasn't my best. So it was just like, take it out.
Yeah.
And only showcase, even if it is just a pose front, back, that is your best.
Yeah, and what's cool about bikini, I people think that I'm saying that I love bikini the most. I also love women's physique a lot too, but they're like, oh, you just like the pretty girls, and that is not the case, because
Yes,
it's part of it. But the reason I like bikini the most is because of that individuality side of it. Like, you heard what she just said about you just take out the stuff that's not good. I wish that I could take out a couple of my mandatory poses in bodybuilding that are not good poses for me. In my head, I'm like, fuck, I gotta hit my freaking, like, my shoulders at the end of my career hurt so bad that I couldn't even hit a side tricep the right way. So people would say, oh, you look really uncomfortable in your side tricep. In my head, when they would call that, my confidence would go down, and I'd be like, oh, I'm hitting this pose that I'm not good at now. Now, if they told me that I didn't have to do it like that, I mean, I'd hit something cool and be fancy about it, but you're not allowed to do that. So with her, she knows, because she's looking at herself, even more than I am, where the parts of her body that she doesn't like are, and she can sit in the mirror when she's in the bathroom, when she's at home, when she's in the gym, and figure out how to get around that stuff. That's why I always say that there really is no limit to how much you can practice. Practice makes perfect, but you're gonna find these different things as you get leaner, as you progress in your physique. And that's how, why we say victory favors the prepared. It's preparing the best package possible. And one more thing that I think is important that we should touch on is how important, because I think a lot of people just throw this part out at the end. I've witnessed it with some of my own clients, is how important the color of your suit and the presentation of your hair and makeup is. Yeah. You guys probably remember when I told the story about how I screamed at Nika because she did her own hair and makeup and it didn't match anything on her body. And I told her, we talked about this in the video before. I said, you're an effing pro. You got to do things the professional way now. And I've also had girls be like, what color should I do? Just pick it for me. And, thankfully they're asking somebody like me who's paying attention. If they're just going to ask some random person, oh, I like red, so you should wear red too. Your suit color is extremely important with the way that you do your hair and makeup, with the complexion of your skin as well. Now, you have worn green. What else?
I've worn green for the majority of my career. I turned pro in it, and then I stuck with it. I did
red,
try. I started competing in red.
Red, yeah.
And then I did try to go back to it. I wasn't a fan of it.
No.
I tried blue, and I actually was kind of a fan of that.
Yep.
That was the last time I competed. But I stuck with green so much and the straight hair, and that was my look.
Yep.
And it was a confident look. It's not where you need to change everything and reinvent it so often. You need to like just know what works well for you. I think the blue and some of the wavy hair was it was a nice change.
It was, but
I don't know what I'll go back to yet. We haven't really discussed that yet. But
I like the green
I do too.
straight a lot.
Yeah.
So I kind of call it like the Ashley look because when she did that look from me, because she's done different hair as well, but I liked her when she had green straight hair, when she was like in her prime, as they call it. And then next thing you know, everyone thought that they could wear green, and that's not the case. So to me, the green with the hair like enhances her eyes and the shape of her face, and it works well with the complexion of her skin. So that's very, very important. We see a lot of blonde-haired competitors come out with aggressive colors, and believe it or not, that actually changes the way your face looks on stage. So you've got to like really, really take into consideration all these things when you're presenting yourself on stage. The way that you do your makeup and the way that you do your hair changes your face, which will change your confidence if you're not happy with it, and it'll change the way that the judges are looking at you. And some judges will say, I'm just judging the body, but realistically, they're judging your entire package. And so you don't ever want to slack on that stuff. Personally, like the green the most for her. I thought the blue was very good too. I always think that she looks good, so I didn't think red was bad. I just didn't think it was right for her. Some girls think, I got to change my bikini color. If you have something that works, you can stay with it forever because you're just enhancing your physique every time. If you've mastered that part, keep that part.
Yeah. In the beginning, I think NPC level where you're experimenting to learn what you like, change it, but don't think that you have to, and don't think you have to go out and buy, this full and crystal pro level suit when you're on the NPC. You can start, figure out what color it is first, otherwise you are going to just kind of throw away money while you're, figuring out your color and your look, and then you can even add to it. Once you got your color, maybe you can then add more crystals and then more crystals, so you can build upon it and just kind of enhance instead of reinvent.
And in the NPC, like for all the young girls that are just starting, or maybe you don't have the finances in place, there's all these ways of like changing around your suits and renting them or reselling them and this and that. I don't think there's anything wrong with going all out because you want to feel like a pro and do that for the experience. But I also think that it's very wise to economically be as smart as possible and think to yourself, I may be doing this a bunch of times and I may have to learn a bunch on stage. So let's try a few things to learn the right way. A lot of times we learn through trial and error, and the error part of it.
Oh yeah, I have.
So I think that this is a very good video. I think that you guys will be able to learn a lot, and it's not too long, so it's boring or anything. This is a very good tutorial. Do you think I missed anything?
No, tan, just make sure you got, I used to do my own tan.
So did I.
I think it depends. I used to prefer it because I'm a perfectionist that way, and I like to be able to control my own color. But I think it was my first Arnold when I got my first spray tan again, and I've done it that way ever since. It's also the first time I went back to not doing my own hair, my own makeup.
It's convenient.
It was. Once I was like, I've been making this a lot harder for myself. And the thing I would say, just because there might be people that are starting off, I was fortunate though because I had a sponsor, and not all girls, especially when they're starting off, have that, and they can't afford the hair, makeup, and all that. It gets expensive. So there are things now where you can take tutorials and learn how to do your makeup yourself. So I would recommend, if you are going to do your makeup yourself, learn how. Don't just try to do your makeup like you're going out for a night on the town. It's a lot different, and there's lots of different contours and things under the lights that can affect it.
Jewelry.
No necklaces. Everything
I don't know if I've ever seen a girl wear a necklace, have you?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, that would really throw the judges off.
Yeah, it doesn't have, I always get, should I have one on each arm? It's really a preference. They're not judging you on your jewelry.
I've noticed though, it seems now that most girls are wearing bling on both arms now.
Right, and it is. And that's what I'm saying, is that it's a preference. If you like that, go with it. If you want hoop earrings or you want dangly earrings, it's really your preference. It's what makes you feel better. They're not gonna necessarily look at you and be like, oh, she picked the wrong earrings. I don't know, she's not gonna win. It's your overall look. So if your overall looks good and you have, you know, bracelets on both arms, that's your overall best look. It's not, just as long as, you know, it's nothing like outrageous, and like, I guess the best rule of thumb is don't do things that are gonna pull away from your body. Let them focus on your body, and everything else is just to kind of enhance that.
Yeah.
That's why the shoes, actually, that's a good thing.
There are different kinds of shoes.
Yeah,
So
the shoes, you don't want to have crazy shoes. Not a lot of those, they don't like those super thick, this part of the shoe.
and there are shoes that will have no strap in the back, but there are shoes that have a strap in the back too.
Yeah, that's a preference. I've always had these. I don't have a problem walking in heels. If you have a problem walking in heels, probably get the strap, practice with them. That's really the best thing, and that's what I kind of have my clients do too, is like walk in their new shoes.
And how much do you tell them to walk in your new shoes?
Every day.
Every day.
And practice your routine. Once you get kind of like, you know, 8 weeks out, or, you know, whatever, 5 minutes a day, like just, it doesn't have to be in your suit or in your heels. I used to practice going to get in the shower, and you just run through your routine. And the reason you do that is you want your movements on stage to look natural. And the more you practice, it's going to be second nature. And then you're going to feel more confident. And that's what shows the most on stage.
Woo!
Confidence.
That I would have forgot. So I'm glad you threw that in. That was very good. That is the woman's perspective that I think is extremely important to put out in this video. Like I can tell you the science and the X's and O's when you get out on the field and play, but that is the woman's side that, ladies, you've got to really think about when you're doing this stuff. I think we covered it all. If we don't, we'll have to bring her back down and do another one. But this is a good video. I'm very happy that we did this video today. And I hope you guys learn a lot. I hope it makes you better when you compete. When you're practicing your heels, practice on all different types of terrain too. Walk on the carpet, walk in here. I mean, you have to go outside with it, but learn to walk in them all over the place, because you don't know what kind of stage you're going to be on.
And different music, because you never know what they're going to be playing. Sometimes it's like classical, sometimes it's like rock or pop. Or
it's funny when there's like some shows they'll put like funny like rap music on, and like some of the girls will get a little bit more sassy when they're up there. You have no idea what they're going to play, but you've got to make it work with whatever's on.
Yeah, and I think one last thing is make your posing routine work for you and your personality. I mean, you kind of touched on that. Like, don't pose like so-and-so just because, like, for a good example, which is a very big contrast for me, India, Paulino. Amazing poser, but her posing is so much different than how I pose.
Yes,
very
very
sassy,
different.
very, you know, she's got that spunk to her. And if I went out there and did that, I would look so uncomfortable. I wouldn't look right. So it's kind of just knowing what works for you and let your personality kind of show through. Unless you're so like, you have to kind of develop like an alter ego almost. I've heard a couple girls where they're like, it's almost like an act.
Yeah.
So I mean,
but if that works for you,
Yeah.
if you get in that character,
right? Well, it's like for me, I'd never like blow a kiss. I never do things like that.
Well, you don't want to misrepresent yourself.
Right.
So if that's not who you are, then don't present yourself that way.
Yep.
I think that we should, now that we've put this all out there, I think we should have you run through it one more time. So now everybody's going to see you run through it with all the stuff that they learned, and they're going to understand why you're doing everything the way that you are.